Hello my dear students, welcome to our J Prep channel. Hope all of you are doing well as usual. Today we will be doing one interesting concept of distance and displacement. In the previous video we have seen what is rest and motion and the difference among these two. Now we will study the difference between distance and displacement. What are distance and displacement? Students, in everyday sense, the distance and displacement have same meaning. In both cases, it is the length of the path traveled by the body. But in physics, they have different meanings. Let us first understand what you mean by the distance. Distance means length of the actual path traveled by the body. Length of the actual path traveled by the body or object. Now let us understand this by an example. See, the object is moving from point O to point A. Suppose the object covers 4-meter distance till A, and then object moves 3-meter perpendicular to this direction. This is point B, so this is 3-meter. Then what is the length of the actual path traveled by the body? From it is O to A, he covers 4-meter distance, and from A to B, he covers 3-meter distance. So total length of the path is 4-meter plus 3-meter, that is equal to 7-meter. So therefore, distance covered by the body is 7-meter. Now let us understand what do you mean by displacement with respect to this example. But first understand the meaning of the displacement. Displacement means the shortest distance between initial position and the final position of an object along a straight line. Now let us understand this by this same example. So before that I will write what is displacement. It is the shortest distance between initial position and the final position. Of an object. Now I will draw the same diagram again. So this is the 4-meter distance which the object has traveled from O to A. So its direction of movement is this. Now what he does, he turns at perpendicular to this OA at point A, covers 3-meter distance and reach point B. So understand student, this is the initial position. This is the initial position of the object, and this is the final position of an object. Then what is the shortest distance between the initial position and the final position? You just have to join point O and point B. So you get a straight line. So that straight line is the length of the straight line is the shortest distance between the initial position and the final position. And that is the displacement. That is the displacement of the body. So this is the displacement. Remember student, this is a vector quantity. Displacement is a vector quantity while distance is a scalar quantity. Then now I want to find out the magnitude and the direction of the displacement. Why? Because displacement is a vector quantity. Now what do you mean by vector? A physical quantity which can be described both by magnitude as well as the direction. So let us first find out the magnitude of this displacement. For this we will have to use this Pythagoras theorem which is applied for the right angle triangle. So if you consider this triangle now this is OB square is equal to OA square plus AB square. So this will be 4 square plus 3 square, and this comes to be 16 plus 9. It comes to be 25, and the OB distance is 5 meter. OB distance is 5 meter. Hence, the displacement of this object, of this body, when it moves from O to B via point A is OB, and the length of that OB segment is 5 meter. So magnitude of the displacement is 5 meter. Okay, and then how to find the direction? By knowing this angle theta, you can find out the direction. Now remember students, see, what is distance? Length of the actual path traveled by the body. And what is displacement? Shortest distance between the initial position of the body and the final position of the body. Remember that distance is always positive, while displacement can be positive, can be negative, and displacement can be zero also. Now see how. See here. This is a circle. Let R be the radius of this circle. O is the center of the circle. Then what is the circumference of the circle? 2 pi r. Now see, there is one body which starts from this point and moves along the circumference of the circle and come back to its initial position. So then, what is the actual distance traveled by this body? It is circumference of the circle, that is 2 pi r. But then what is the displacement? What is displacement? Basically the distance between the initial position and the final position. Now for this body, the initial position was A, and the body has come back to A after moving along the circumference of the circle. So the initial position and the final position, they are same. Therefore, what is the distance between the initial position and the final position, or what is the shortest distance between the initial position and the final position? 0. So therefore, for this case, actual distance which is traveled by this body is 2 pi r, but the displacement is 0. Hence, I told you that the displacement can be 0, but the distance can never be 0. So this distance is 2 pi r, which is the circumference of the circle, and displacement is 0. Let us see one more example to understand the difference between distance and displacement. Now say body starts from A, then this is 10, 20, this is 30, 40, so we have a segment road of 100 meters. It starts from point A and goes till point B. Distance between A and B is 100 meters. Okay. Now an object starts moving from point O. So it covers, say, 90-meter distance. Okay. So we'll call this as point A. So therefore, this is x1. The first x1 is equal to 90 meters. And then the object come back to 50 centimeter. Object come back to 50 centimeter mark here. So this is the final position of the object. Say P. So now here A is the initial position. A is the initial position, while Q is the final position. Q is the final position. Then what is the actual distance traveled? Then what do you mean by distance? Length of the actual path traveled. So the body has started from point A, it has gone till point P, he covers 90-meter distance, and then he come back to 50 mark, means he covered 40 more distance. So therefore, actual distance which has been traveled by that object is this 90 plus 40, that comes to be 130 meter. This is positive 130 meter. Okay, then what is the displacement? Now, displacement is the shortest distance between the initial position and the final position. What is the initial position? Point A. And what is the final position? Point Q. So therefore, what is the shortest distance between the initial position and the final position? That is 50 meters. Hence, displacement is 50 meters. So this is the difference between distance and the displacement. Now displacement can be negative also. I will take the same example. Now this is mark A. Then this is again 10, 20, 40, 50, 60. And this is point B, this is point B, this is point A, and then this side it will be minus 10 and minus 20. Now body starts moving from point A. It starts moving from point A. It covers say 70-meter distance towards right side. So therefore, your displacement will be, here x1 will be 70 meter. But this body changes its direction and covers 90-meter distance to the left side. So 70 here and then 20 more distance, 90. So now this is the initial position. This is the initial position of the body, while this is the final position of the body. Now, then what is the actual distance traveled here? Actual distance traveled is equal to A to this point P, that is 70 meter, and then body changes its direction and travel 90 meter to the left side. So actual distance is 70 plus 90, that is 160 meter. But what is the displacement? Displacement is a vector quantity. It is the shortest distance between the initial position and the final position. So the displacement here is minus 20 meter. So this is the negative displacement. Displacement is minus 20 meter, means it is 20 meter on the left side of the initial position. So to summarize this, distance is basically the actual length of the path that is being traveled by the body, while displacement is the shortest distance between the initial position and the final position. Distance is a scalar and is always positive, while displacement is a vector quantity, and the displacement can be 0, can be positive, can be negative also. I hope all of you understood this concept of distance and displacement. And student, if you understand the concepts of physics and mathematics for the preparation of JEE and CET, I strongly recommend all of you to subscribe our channel. Thank you.